said we were gonna flex together.
No, I did not
now I'm
agree to
the
this.
only
I
one
did
flexing.
not agree to this.
Now I'm the only one flexing.
Yeah, you made it weird.
Yeah, you really made it weird.
Here we're
Will
trying
it
to
get
have a
weirder
nice.
if I do this?
Yes, we're trying to. No one wants to see your pudding cup. Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
folks, we're here talking with Sijin. He's from Houston, Texas. He is a pro fighter from down there. He used to train with Victor back in the day.
One of my
Unfortunately.
original training partners.
Original training
Like
partner.
he was the first guy that was my size that I actually trained with.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay. But you fight at 115, correct?
Yes, I fight at 115.
At 115. Where do you train at right now?
I train right now at Strong Style MMA. We're based in Rosenberg, Texas.
Rosenberg, Texas.
Yes. Southwest side of Houston.
Okay. How many fights have you had so far?
Had 7 amateur and 7 pro. So a total of 14 fights.
That's pretty good. That's Vic's, just barely kind of breaking out of that.
13?
13?
13 fights. So Muay Thai and MMA combined.
Okay, that's right. Have you done any Muay Thai fights or anything like kickboxing?
No, I grew up wrestling in high school, and pretty much that was kind of my strong suit. So I just kind of went with that, and that's kind of where I felt comfortable in.
I mean, you did a super fight, didn't you?
I did a grappling super fight.
Yeah, you did a super fight. So.
I mean, when I started off originally, I was just doing jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And I didn't say, I wanted to fight or anything, but I just wanted to slowly, break my way in.
That's true.
I just be like, I want to fight, blah, blah, blah. No.
That's how most people.
Yeah.
That's how most people. I want to fight. As soon as they walk into a gym, they're like, I want to fight within 2 weeks. And blah blah. They don't understand anything about grappling or punching or anything like that. It's the.
I mean, that's definitely how I was.
Yeah.
From the start when I got there, I was like, so how long is it going to take before I fight?
Yeah, we were saying, we don't even know if you're
But you asked. So most people demand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other thing was, when I walked in there, was get to work.
Yeah, we just made him train with us and made him do everything that we did. And since he was keeping it, we're like, okay, maybe we'll earn
It
some
might be
fight.
because your wrestling background. You had a pretty. When did you start wrestling?
I just in high school was a freshman in high school. And I ended up having almost 200 matches, over 100 wins.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
And then our old coach, my old coach, his current coach,
Mhm.
Richard Burmaster, it's very wrestling-oriented style, too.
Yeah.
This
Everything.
coaching style.
His grappling style was basically a wrestling top-heavy pressure style. That also, it helped us because it translated into MMA.
Mhm.
Having a traditional gi jiu-jitsu style doesn't always necessarily translate into MMA, whereas his style that he had definitely.
Yeah, you're not trying to grab for grips or anything.
Yeah, you're not playing.
You're going more for wrists.
And you're not stuck trying to do a bottom game. It's more like trying to sweep, get up on top, and then just administering damage and pressure and controlling your opponent.
Okay, that's pretty good. Kind of like Randy Couture and stuff like that. Kind of very
Major, Khabib,
all that.
John Fish.
Vintage, I was going to say vintage
A
Tito.
little more exciting than John Fish.
Vintage Tito. Vintage Tito.
Did you see his fight here recently?
I did not. No, I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
Put the tune up, I think, on what's his name?
All Daily, right?
All day.
But Paul Daly's ground game.
I don't get that. How do you have as many fights as he has and not work on your?
Do you just
your
hit that freaking
jiu-jitsu?
hard, you know?
Hell, Joe Schilling had a couple of MMA fights through Bellator. Look at him. He won.
Yeah, but Joe Schilling trains with the Diaz brothers. I guarantee they've talked him into rolling.
Oh yeah, they have, and he didn't like it because he likes to smoke.
Yeah.
Well, smoke cigarettes.
Smoke cigarettes. You smoke with cigarettes?
No.
I mean, so does Sakuraba.
I don't smoke with cigarettes.
That's true.
I mean, I used to. Dude, I hit 2 years no cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
It's been 2 years since I smoked a cigarette.
I'm proud of you.
It's really weird because people are like, how'd you quit? I just stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That most people have that mentality of I'm a smoker, but I need to quit. You change your perception of it, because I'm not a smoker, I don't need to quit because I already stopped.
Yeah.
You keep saying that over and over and over. The more psychologists said that you've had more of a success doing that, other than kind of dope yourself up with the patches and stuff like that. If you mentally say that I don't need a cigarette because I'm not a smoker. It works way better in the long term. Which I think you also were training a whole bunch and probably didn't want to spend that extra time of,
No, for me it was the money.
oh, the money.
I was like, I'm gonna go spend $5 to get a pack of cigarettes, and then I'd hate myself when I throw the pack of cigarettes out.
At
And
least
I'd be like, damn, that was $5. And I'd drive back over to the spot that I threw them out the window, and I'd pick up the pack of cigarettes, and I'd be like, I gotta smoke these because I spent $5. Then I kept doing that, and eventually it became a, hey, let's not waste our money on things that will kill us. And now it's all natties, natty life.
At least you're not in like New York where like the tobacco tax is like super high. It's like $15 for a pack, I think, up there.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine.
Funny story, Sijin actually used to be a cocaine addict.
Oh, did you?
No, not at all.
Oh, I was about to say.
Not even close.
I don't think you even drink, correct?
I don't even drink.
You don't even drink?
I'm a terrible Catholic. I don't drink.
Okay, I get you.
He's the man that I wish I could be a lot of times. He's very well read. He's well spoken.
And very, very well endowed.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go.
And
I've heard the stories.
Yes,
I've heard the
yes.
stories.
incredibly kind as well. I mean, that's my ride or die. That's the golden boy, dude. You and Charlie, I swear, like I wouldn't be able to fight without you two. Like I don't give you either one of you enough praise, but it will come eventually. Like, I will do something out of the kindness of my heart. No, I mean, I'm not a
You're
horrible.
just going to be like Conor McGregor and take care of us?
Basically,
Buy me a book.
he's my Artem.
Would be good.
You're my, I don't know the boxing coach. Boxing coach's name from Conor McGregor, but he's
He's the
definitely my
boxing coach?
Artem because he's my size. He's my Edo Portal.
You go for it. I take movement, really?
Because we
Like,
play,
we're playing touch
because we
button.
play touch ball in the park.
We're playing touch button in the park. Oh god,
Dude,
that's exactly what I need.
but that's what we do. We don't play touch ball in this park, but we go and we hang out in the pool, we just talk.
We go
Like,
hang out at the pool. We go play disc golf and
Yeah,
shit
it's-
like that.
It's a lot of philosophy and a lot of things we
We
talk
work
about
more on the
before.
active rest day. I'm an active rest day kind of guy.
He's
because
the chill friend. He's the guy that let's just kick it, man. Let's just talk.
I
And we
don't.
ended up going deep whenever we don't mean to.
Oh, for real. Like, especially with a lot of fighters, it's always good to have that one friend that kind of just hey, let's take a step back from training and just kind of live a life.
Mm.
Like, Vic's never played racquetball,
Oh, I need to hear the story.
Okay, so, yeah, no. Victor is very much of a fighter, not an athlete.
Yes.
Martial art. I'm
I
an
can see
artist.
that, yes.
So when you get him doing anything else that's out of his realm, he has no body control. He swings around like an 8-year-old.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially when you're in a confined space like for racquetball, he slams into walls, he trips over himself, and he gets confused on why. And when you try to even play wall ball with him, I played baseball, basketball, and a little bit of football. It wasn't until my 20s I really got into martial arts or anything like that. But goddamn, I could throw a main line down at the wall and smack him in the face with it. He can't dodge it worth shit.
And the whole time I'm like, guys, I swear I'm a professional athlete. I'm like this close.
That's the thing with me. I had no eye-hand coordination or any sort of athletic ability growing up. And it wasn't until I got into high school and saw they had wrestling that I was like, oh, hey, I can actually be decent at this, even though I have no, coordination whatsoever.
But you had probably the body movement for it, correct?
Yeah. A lot of the stuff kind of came naturally to me, how to move my body. But, yeah, we'll do... If I'm doing, sports performance training and you're doing, those agility ladders and stuff like that, I'm absolutely terrible. I get beat by these little 8-year-old kids.
One of the things that was interesting is whenever I went, to the performance lab, dude, in Houston, where you guys were training at before, they had some guys that were over there, basketball players or football players, and oh yeah, that guy's going to the combine. This dude's definitely going to go pro. The football players and the basketball players, and they're taller guys. The basketball players are tall guys, and we're doing those ladder drills and we're doing all that stuff, and they're, and I'm like, why can I do this and you can't?
The body control. Like,
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is like the length of their limbs, dude. It's
Sure.
just harder.
Sure.
And for small guys like us, like that's why wrestling comes natural to the smaller guys because we have so much body control.
I will say
Put
that
more
that is a
pressure.
big thing. Like with me, like I guess I would say I'm a small big guy. I'm not like ginormous like some of the guys are out there, but I'm just tall and lanky. But it doesn't mean that I don't trip over myself just because of that. Like that's kind of a natural thing. I get jealous of guys like you that have like really good body control, that you can do stuff that I can't do, like almost without probably years of training, honestly. But back to Sijin real quick. So, what made you want to get into MMA?
Pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling. A lot of
I,
people are freaking out right now.
growing up, I was a huge pro wrestling fan.
Okay.
And, gosh, probably by the time. No, when I was really little and I started watching it, and then, like every little kid, I had to go to school. And like most kids, I had no sense of time. So I just knew pro wrestling was on before when I had nothing to do.
Right.
But then when all of a sudden when I had school, it's like, okay, I had to focus on school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was around 3rd grade when we just moved, and I happened to be watching TV one day, and I saw Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, it's wrestling. And I just got hooked back in. And I religiously watched pro wrestling up until high school.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Undertaker and Razor Ramon.
Alright. Those are some good ones.
Yeah. I like those dark. And well, actually, no, Razor Ramon wasn't really dark, but just his whole attitude just appealed to me. Yeah.
So, what made you, like, because I know there is a pro wrestling circuit. What made you want to go different from that to MMA, I guess?
Well, when I got to high school, growing up, I had asthma, really nerdy, so I was mostly indoors playing video games and watching pro wrestling. I didn't really go out and do a lot of sports. I had some like friends that I would play basketball with, but I was terrible at it, never good. Well, pretty much once high school happened, I wanted to change. I wanted to be active, change the way I looked,
Oh, yeah.
and just stop being like the kid that's always indoors.
Right.
So I told my parents I want to do football because whatever, everyone plays football.
It's
So I was like,
America,
yeah. And they told me no. They were like, no, you're gonna get hurt. And I was like, well, there goes that. And I remember I went to a private school, and they had a orientation for all new students. You kind of came, you saw what programs they had,
Right.
saw the buildings, met the teachers, and there was a booth for wrestling. And the wrestling coach was there, and he had one wrestler, and he was kind of like showing the pictures that they had of him doing meets and whatnot. And I was like, wrestling? I like wrestling. Is this going to be any different? Because I didn't know any better. Like, I never saw wrestling before.
Exactly.
Because I guess most kids growing up, especially in like the 90s, unless you lived in like a wrestling town,
Right.
you didn't really know anything about wrestling. It was just basketball and football and baseball.
Yeah.
And then growing up in Houston and Texas, wrestling wasn't all that big either.
Right.
So I was like, I'll try this. And so I think it was one day they announced that, hey, anyone interested, show up after school, after class on this room. And I just told my parents, hey, I'm going to be late. I have to study late. I didn't even tell them. So I started showing up, and we started training. And I think a week went by before I actually told my parents, hey, I'm actually doing wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, whatever, I was going to do it.
What was their reaction?
No, they hated it.
They hated it?
They hate it.
What do you think now?
It's because, well, I mean, still hate it. I mean, I had like traditional Indian parents, and they think mostly athletics is a waste of time. It's just all like academics, get good grades, get a high paying job, get a family, and that's it. It's like, why are you wasting your time with this?
Right.
But, I mean, I fell in love with it. Like, I enjoyed wrestling, I enjoyed training, I enjoyed competing. I actually was like got into shape. My asthma didn't really like dictate my life like it did before.
Right.
It was all these like great. I had self confidence that I didn't have before.
Right.
And in high school, I ended up having like an 8-pack.
There you go.
I felt good about myself for the first time in my life. And so, just those 4 years, I wrestled. I had just enjoyed it. And then once it was over, I didn't wrestle anymore because I wasn't good enough to go into a college, or I didn't think I was good enough to go into a college. And I ended up staying in Houston to go to college, which the university I'm going to didn't have a wrestling program. Really.
Right.
It had like a little wrestling club, but it wasn't really anything
Right.
that was serious.
It's kind of like those, like sometimes those small jujitsu.
It's like a little recreation club.
Like you just got like some guys that know how to do jiu-jitsu. You might have that one high level guy that didn't get into D1 or something like that, or is weight now.
Yeah. And so I didn't do anything in college.
Right.
But at the same time, I think the Ultimate Fighter happened. I don't know if the Ultimate Fighter did happen around that time, the very first one.
The very first one, probably not, because
I graduated high school in 2003.
okay.
Isn't it like 2005 when the Ultimate Fighter came out?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
5 or 6?
Something happened. I know the Mark Kerr documentary came out in my senior year. I know the Mark Kerr documentary came out my senior year because I heard people talking about it.
Right.
But and I think I watched a little bit of it. But ironically enough, when I did watch it, I missed the whole fight portion of it, like his fights. I just saw the whole like his life falling apart from steroid abuse afterwards.
Right.
So I saw that, and I believe I did see like an early UFC video when I was like in middle school.
Right.
But I didn't think much of it. But the only reason why I watched it was because Ken Shamrock was in it. And Ken Shamrock was in WWE at the time.
Yeah.
Or WWF, I should say.
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah.
So I knew Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
And then I saw it, and it was him and Dan Severn, and I believe it was their second fight?
Yeah.
Second or third, where all they did was just stand in front of each other and circled a bit.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. And I was like, this is stupid. I don't want to watch this.
Right.
But,
January 17th, 2005.
2005.
Was.
So somewhere in college, I stumbled into watching MMA. I think I started watching before The Ultimate Fighter. I'm not sure. It was around that time. But what I really started watching was Pride.
Yes.
And Pride was fucking amazing.
Sucker dicks.
It was amazing.
You had everything.
Face stomps.
Everything. Anything that you could dream of. It's a world of your imagination.
Except for elbows. No elbows. But
Stomp people's
I
faces.
fell in love. Because I would see that, I'm like, oh, hey, you can wrestle. I wrestled. And I'm like, this is cool. And I also started watching boxing in high school, too.
Yeah.
So, seeing that, and then seeing that I could wrestle, I just, like, fell in love with the sport. I'm like, this is amazing. And I shifted away from wrestling, or from pro wrestling. Literally, I shifted away from pro wrestling because I started wrestling in high school and saw it was all fake and bullshit. And I'm like, this is so much better.
Yes.
And then once MMA came around, I started watching that religiously. And so I did that, but at the time, there weren't too many MMA gyms around me.
Right.
And I worked nights at the time. So there was nothing really in the morning for me to do. And they were expensive. It was expensive. I was working like a part-time job.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any money. And it was around when I was 25 where I just got fed up of just watching the sport and not doing anything and not really doing anything athletically again because I missed competing and training.
Right.
I was probably for 4 years, and it was awesome to me, and I loved doing it. And I missed that itch of competing and testing myself.
Right.
So I ended up finding a gym that happened to be not too far from me. Prices were somewhat reasonable, and they had morning classes. So I went in, met the instructors. I just told them I just want to do jiu-jitsu. I didn't want to say I want to do MMA just because I didn't want to be like all pretentious and everything and saying, oh, I want to fight. And
exactly.
Like, no,
yeah.
Who are you? Right? So I just started doing jiu-jitsu, and it was kind of coming natural to me from my wrestling background.
Right.
Some stuff was weird, and even though I watched it, it's different watching it than actually doing it.
Yes.
Completely different. So there was that adjustment. There was the adjustment of learning how to wrestle and not get caught in submissions. Because I would just shoot for doubles, and then people would just guillotine me all the time.
Guillotine, and I think the arm bars was something that wrestlers got really caught into. Right. From
from the
it's an another.
Really getting like caught in guard and then standing triangle and arm bar.
Yeah.
because you don't care. You don't have the fear of the guard. There's no fear of the guard. You're like, put your arms around me.
But it was
You're
crazy
looking
because
up.
it was like I was taking down like their higher level guys there. Like it was nothing. But then as soon as I took them down, I got submitted.
Okay.
So I was training there, and for 6 months, because it was like the summer of 2010. So for the rest of that year, I was mostly just doing jiu-jitsu, doing jiu-jitsu tournaments, and doing reasonably well. And then, who ended up becoming my head coach, Richard Burmaster, he was at the gym there, and he was training a guy for his first fight. And he had heard that I had wrestled, and he's like, "Hey, I know you wrestle? Can you help this guy out? Because he has a fight coming up, and he needs someone to like do wrestling with. Because no one really there really wrestled. It was just a primarily jiu-jitsu school. So I was like, back in my mind, I'm like, I want to fight.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell him that. I just like, yeah, sure, I'll help you out, whatever. So I started training with them, and then after a couple of months, I like let it be known that, hey, I want to fight too.
Yeah.
And he's like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay. And so the whole time while that guy was having a fight, I trained along with them, and I was doing everything they were doing. And I think...
Was that Raul?
Yeah, that was Raul. And there was a couple of other guys that were all in there, but it was just mainly my coach Richard, that teammate Raul, me, and then Victor came along maybe the middle of 2011.
Like right after Raul had his fight.
Yeah, I think, Raul just had his fight. So it was like, cool. I was going to fight, Victor was going to fight, but then it took the end of that year before we were able to find opponents and get a fight.
Right.
So even though we fought in December of I fought December 2011, I was literally training for a fight since January of that year.
Okay.
And yeah, I had my first fight. I won it.
Complete
And I was just like, to me, at that moment in time, it was something I was waiting for what, 6 years? 7 years? And it was just like the best feeling in the world.
I remember him walking out to the fight, and like his music, dude. He walks out to Tupac.
No.
It wasn't Tupac for that one.
But that was my third fight.
What did you walk out to for the first one?
So they told me, "Hey, what song do you want?" And I told him it was like some techno song I was listening to, or whatever.
Yeah.
It was DJ Shadow. And the guy was like, he wrote it down. I was like, okay. And then they call out my name, and the song plays, and I have no idea what song it is.
Like, this isn't my song.
It was Racks on Racks on Racks. That song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell is this?
So my point was, though, whenever the
story.
music hits and he's walking out there, he turns to Rich and goes, because Rich is like, how are you feeling? He turns to Rich and goes, I can't see. And he just keeps walking.
I had really bad eyesight.
Right.
So I had my glasses off, and the way that venue was set up, it was like in this big like indoor kind of soccer area. So you literally walk out of the locker room, and there's no direction to where you have to walk. It's just a crowd of people. And so I like turned to my coach, and I'm like, hey, I can't. I mean, I didn't mean I couldn't see. I just was like trying to let him know that you got to guide me to like where I have to walk. In his mind, he just hears, I can't see.
He's like,
and he's like,
you can't
what do you
see?
mean? He's freaking out. He's like, yeah, I'm about to fight. I'm like, I can't see. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, no. I just can't tell where I'm going.
Exactly. How are you supposed to fight when you can't see?
Yeah. So.
I've been blind this whole time, coach.
Pretty much.
I've been blind this whole time.
I thought he knew, but yeah, I got my first win.
I mean, I had lost sunglasses and that stick that I always walked away with. I've been blind.
Dude, and it was funny, like, his fight, because, like, this dude was so angry and so mad, and he just kept getting taken down over and over.
I, like, struck
over.
for a little bit. I think I threw, because at that time, all I was throwing was really, like, a jab and an overhand, because I had some pretty decent pop in my hand.
Yeah.
So I jab and overhand, and I think I completely forgot about the jab. I just threw my overhand right when it started, completely whiffed. And the whole crowd went, ooh. And then I forgot what happened. Maybe he threw a couple of strikes, and I was like, fuck this, I'm just going to take him down. And that's all I did for the rest of the tournament.
Okay, so dude, that overhand, we nicknamed it the S-bomb. But it was hilarious, too, because, like, you could dodge it, like you could see it coming from a mile away. But if that sucker landed, it was so bad, and it wasn't because like he couldn't see you because he has bad eyesight. He would literally just do, boom. He would duck and look at the ground and just throw. I was watching a video the other day of like old, like him holding mitts for me.
Yeah.
Dude, we were both just
Yeah, we were like terrible.
so bad with
So
our
bad,
hands.
it's
Like no striking at all, but we would win fights miraculously by just taking people to the ground.
Well, not only that, but our coach at the time, Burmmaster, he really emphasized having cardio.
Yeah.
Cardio. Like you may not always have, you may not be able to control like how better your technique is, but you can always control how good your cardio is. And we would win fights by just basically wearing guys out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You start off at a certain pace and you just keep.
Pressuring.
They
Kind of
can't
like
do
the Diaz brothers.
Yeah, but
Yes,
to
like
a
we
way
do.
another.
Even Demetrius, like Mighty Mouse,
Yeah,
like
Mighty
he
Mouse,
just
yeah.
breaks people down just because he keeps up a pace that no one can keep up with.
Right.
And for me, that worked well because when I wrestled in high school, my high school wrestling coach had the same philosophy. Because when I started, it was literally they had the program the year before, but it was just one guy.
Right.
My freshman year was like the first team that they actually had, and all of us never wrestled before.
Okay.
So really, we were going to these tournaments, and we clearly didn't have better technique than everyone because
Right.
we hadn't been doing it as long. But we had great cardio,
Okay.
and so we would just outwork people until they got tired and broke and wanted to get pinned.
And I was style wrestling, dude. It's like, yeah, I might be in a sloppy position, but I'm gonna be bulldogging you the whole time. Like I'm coming, and you better pray you can stop me or keep up.
I mean, that's a good way to do it. I mean, you got a lot of jiu-jitsu guys that play into that. Like, they're just going to put pressure on you, move, and just kind of chip you down little by little.
I think that's a lot of that, like,
You even got some, like, MMA fighter, MMA wrestlers that are kind of
I mean, what's the term they're using now? Wrestle jitsu.
wrestle jiu-jitsu.
Seriously, like there's guys that they call it wrestle jitsu, yeah, because they're taking you down. They're just putting down pressure, but they're hunting for the submission the whole time.
Right.
They're making you uncomfortable, and so you give something up.
Right. Who did Rich used to like quote? Oh yeah, Jake Shields. He was like American Jiu-Jitsu, which
Yeah.
basically is like wrestling people down and then just like submitting them on the ground.
Yeah, top game heavy,
None of that pulling guard crap.
top game strong, home.
I was about to say, I've
I
seen.
pulled guard once, and they shunned me. I haven't had a conversation with Richard Burmmaster since I pulled guard. That's why he shunned
Oh,
me.
at the fight?
Yeah, the legacy fight. I pulled guard, and
Oh yeah, I think I saw that. I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
he hasn't
Like,
talked to me
You're
since.
supposed to be a wrestler. What are you doing
He
pulling
hasn't talked
guard?
to me since.
Dude, okay, first of all, that fight, that dude was huge. Like, what are you going to be doing? That dude was like 6'1", he was fighting at, he didn't even make weight, so he was like at 230, and you actually made weight at,
230.
or 130.
I mean, that's not me. You saw how many tall guys I took in my highlight video. You saw how many tall guys I took down?
It's true. I was about to say, you have a pretty mean single leg from what I've seen you working with like Vic and everything.
Yeah, single, double.
Basically, any takedown is.
No. I really had a hard time with like clinch
I
takedown.
haven't seen you do a fireman's carry.
In fights.
No, in like the gym or anything. I don't think I've never seen you do a fireman's.
I've never
That's
seen,
like my go-to.
I've
you
never
do it.
seen.
I have.
I do it all the time.
I've never seen you
Just
do it.
never seen me do it.
No, I'm too big probably.
I do it to the boys all the time.
Oh yeah, because they're, well,
They get big brothers.
yeah,
I
they
do
get
love
big
fireman's
brothers.
carry though.
They're savages, but they get big brothers.
I'll go up against like guys that have wrestled, and we'll like do like takedowns against the cage. I'll have a hard time trying to get like traditional takedown, and then my last minute go ninja Everest to go for a fireman's, and then I'll hit it on them. They're like, "Wow, that was really good."
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to hit it in
In
like
a
the
fight.
middle of a fight.
Right.
I usually do it when I'm up against the cage, and I kind of can pressure them,
Yeah.
and they'll kind of like give me pressure back, and that's when I can go for it. It's hard to do it in an open space.
Yeah, I mean, that's how Daniel Cormier does it. He always gets people pressured up against the cage. He goes for that fireman's carry and just kind of walks them across and then dumps them on their head. And like, easy.
Oh, Wayne did that Cormier. Henderson. That
Dude,
was-
my favorite was still the Gustafson
He did that
fight
to
with the high
Brian too.
crotches.
He did that to Josh
The
Brian.
high crotches that he did to Gustafson. Just
Oh, yeah.
lifting him through the air and just boom,
Dropped him.
dropping him out of the air, just going.
That was almost as bad as like Rampage, like spiking that one dude and cried.
No, not even close.
Not even close.
No,
Just hard.
that's not that savage.
Oh, Randleman.
Oh, The suplex.
I'm surprised.
Still got Kimura though.
I'm surprised he didn't break free.
Hey, R.I.P. to the monster though.
Yes,
dude, he was one of the guys that like inspired me too, and I didn't find out about him until like later on, until like right before I actually started fighting. Is when I found about Kurian. I think that was like one of the nights Rich used to have me like sit in front of the TV and watch like old UFC fights. Like very adamant about like having this know.
Oh yeah, because he was very much he like kind of like me too. Was like watched it from kind of like the early days in the beginning. So you have a lot of guys that come in that don't know all these guys that have come before, and then like all these great fighters that were there before, and all these legendary fights that happened.
I mean, I'm definitely a fight nerd, and I think Sijin is too. I mean, Sijin's I know who his first love was.
Who was that?
Sakuraba.
I don't want to say he's my first.
But wrestling.
But Sakuraba is pretty awesome.
And fighting.
Sakuraba is pretty awesome.
He doesn't like the
He's
Gracies.
one of my favorites.
He doesn't like the You don't like the Gracies?
Because when I came in,
Team Saku, bro.
I mean, they had already been beaten.
Oh, okay.
Sakuraba had already beaten Hoist.
I can't stop looking at my reflection and like flexing.
Stop it.
Stop
it. No one cares.
Exactly. This is about Sijin.
It's not real.
This is about Sijin.
I know.
If anything, I should take off my shirt.
You should.
No.
That'd be too
Just
much.
take off your shirt right now.
No.
Oreos.
It's gonna be.
Oreos. Oh, so I have a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like to collect limited edition Oreos. So every month they come out with a different like limited edition flavored Oreos. And it's just, I was never that big on Oreos. I mean, I love Oreos. Who doesn't love Oreos? But
I saw they have a new pina colada one.
Oh yes, those are really good.
Are they?
But there's actually two others that came out at the same time.
Oh no.
There's a kettle corn and there was a cherry cola one. And
how were those?
I enjoyed all of them. A lot of people didn't like the cherry cola, but I thought it was pretty good.
I can see why that's a little different.
And it's got like popping rocks candy in there, so it's like.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. And well, July 4th, they usually do like their fireworks Oreos, which will have Pop Rocks candy. But yeah, every month they'll usually do like a limited edition flavored Oreos. And it might be like certain stores might have certain flavors and stuff. But once I found out about it, I was just like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I just like tried one. And I was like, cool. Then another one came out. I was like, yeah, I'll try that. And it just became like a thing where like I just want to try different ones.
He's obsessed with the Oreos, and then I see it on a Snapchat, and I call him, and I'm like, dude, stop eating the damn Oreos.
Why, because you're hungry?
Because I get yelled at if I eat cheese.
And now you're stuck with hemp seeds.
Yeah, I got hemp. I like hemp seeds, though.
Really?
They're like tiny peanuts.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're like tiny peanuts. Maybe like tiny cashews.
Do you try the hemp protein powders?
I did not like hemp force.
There's
Joe Rogan lied to me.
He did lie.
And like
I'm
it's
sorry.
so gross.
I think most of the honest stuff is bullshit.
Dude, I definitely
like
felt
crap,
the difference with Shroom Tech and T Plus and Alpha Brain. I like it.
Alpha Brain did nothing.
I like Alpha Brain.
He keeps trying to sell me on Alpha Brain, but
Alpha Brain is kind of it's hit and miss for me. Some days I feel pretty good with it. Some days I don't.
I feel
it's the same as.
Well, I mean, if you're eating like crap, it's not gonna work.
It's the same as like.
What is that supposed to be?
I will say it's like a B12 spike. That's basically all it is.
But he does believe in the matcha tea.
I don't know if I really believe it.
He believes in matcha tea.
It is.
Dude, there is science.
The only thing I really like from the on it thing from like Joe Rogan is the new mood thing. That thing's really actually helped out my sleep a whole lot.
Oh, dude.
I've
5-HTP, dude.
I've had real bad like time here lately just because of a new schedule and then training jiu-jitsu, which training jiu-jitsu is totally different from training Muay Thai.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't go to bed like I didn't go to bed as sore as I did in like Muay Thai.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I hurt, but not like actual like muscle hurt, just like outside hurt. And then I can just close my eyes and go to sleep. But sometimes when I think about it, I get so frustrated with jiu-jitsu, like I can still feel like I'm still thinking about it. I'm not calmed down still from it, and I'm still kind of like my muscles are still firing. Like I'm still like trying to do jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
But when doing the new mood stuff, calms me down. Even though it takes me a little bit to go to sleep. Once I go to sleep, instant REM, beautiful dreams. I wake up just amazingly rested. I feel like I'm real susceptible to like all those kind of like Zima kind of stuff. Those like things that kind of like help you sleep. Has a little melatonin, has a little chamomile and stuff like that. What's up?
Isn't Zima the drink?
No, like Zima as in ZMA. Zima.
But isn't Zima the?
I think there's a drink called Zima.
You know, we're gonna get him.
Oh, that really stupid drink that you like the LaCroix.
Yes.
It basically
No,
it basically tastes like a fuzzy television.
Yeah, it's.
I have no idea what a fuzzy television is.
It's like a.
Like when back when I used to like TVs used to do like the snow thing, like the black and white.
Oh yeah.
Fuzzy. That's what LaCroix tastes like. Like if a visual can taste like that, that's what. It is.
I was trying to say, I'm like, I don't.
But Zima is like an alcoholic beverage that
If you had
bubbly water almost.
It's not even alcoholic.
Yeah, Zima is.
Not Zima.
Yeah. Dude,
Look it up.
I'm a young Jamie right now.
Young Jamie? Who's Jamie?
Whatever. From the Joe Rogan. Like the guy, his tech guy that's in the background.
No.
Do you watch the Joe Rogan thing?
Not really. No.
Some of them are pretty good. I like them. I like listening to the ones that he talks about, like wildlife and stuff like that, because he's an avid hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like this new stuff that he's had with like the MMA hour. Like
Zima,
he just had Sean O'Malley on there, which he's a trip to listen to.
I like him.
Like
Dude.
if you want to know more about him, like he's not a vegan anymore.
No.
Like he went
So
back
he's gonna lose all his superpowers.
and gain like Whole Foods power. You know,
Overpriced power?
overpriced power. That Trader Joe power.
Zima Clear Malt is a clear, lightly carbonated alcoholic beverage made and distributed by the Coors Brewing Company.
How does it make you feel?
Well,
I win.
well, okay,
Wait.
good for you.
You win this?
Just the being smart. Oh, let's ask it a question. What should we ask?
Was that a
it?
magic 8 ball?
Yeah.
What you wouldn't want to ask it? Will Sijin ever find love in his life?
No. Will I get taller?
Will Sijin get taller?
When you're doing jiu-jitsu and statistically you just get shorter.
Dude, stop dropping facts. This is cannot foretell now. Will I ever be 5'6"?
They were talking about like how jiu-jitsu, like when people first start and then when they become like a black belt, like they said that the spinal decompression is so much that you might lose like an inch or something like that from it. That's why was it Eddie Bravo has a bad back. He just had like a disc replacement and now he's an inch taller back when he first started all of it. By the way, you said you started doing jiu-jitsu and everything for everybody. Like, so do you train in the gi? Do you train in no gi? Or
When I started, I was doing gi and no gi.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, since I've been fighting so much and I train with a bunch of fighters, we've been primarily doing mostly no gi.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a 1-stripe purple belt.
Okay. Congratulations. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
It's a lot of dedication. I know Vic over here is like chasing that blue belt status hard.
Dude, I'm not even. I'm like a 7-year white belt.
7-year white belt.
I get 7-year white belt, dude. But like, I'm training the gi. And now that I started training the gi, I have so much more to learn. Like, I just scraped. Dude, like a lot of the stuff that even we were talking about earlier, like Rich taught us, it was in one ear and out the other because I relied too much on my athletic ability.
Mm-hmm.
And not enough on actual learning. And now that I'm older, I can actually sit there and digest what's being taught.
I can see that. Like, I know when you were doing Muay Thai and stuff, you were just still kind of like, I wouldn't say like balls to the wall, but I mean, you were really, really into it. You were really boom, boom, boom. It was a very forward mentality instead of like stopping and thinking and processing.
I actually think Muay Thai is what got me into that whole learning thing. Because it was like, okay, and hit here, here, and here, and I started realizing the rhythms of things, right? And then, okay, well, if I can do a 4-punch combination, let's try and do a 6. Or if I can do a 6-punch combination with, like, kicks in between, let's try and do 10. And then just keep growing those combinations. And so, like, now that's grown into where I can actually do that in sparring, and I can replicate that in fights. Because it's just been the pattern that's set.
Right.
And now I'm trying to replicate that with jiu-jitsu, where I'm drilling the same thing over and over, where I'm going for the same things over and over during rolling sessions, and they're translating to the fights.
Right.
Like I purposely put myself in those positions because I want to use that in the fight.
So what are you thinking about, like, when you came down to Stillwater and you've been kind of training with us for Nogi Week at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy of Stillwater? Like, what did you kind of think? Is there anything that kind of popped out of your mind when you kind of came here?
Because really only rolled that one night I came here.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed how Edgar does a lot of like technical concepts almost.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting. It wasn't just a lot of just, okay, here's an armbar, here's an omoplata,
Right.
and then just roll. Like most jiu-jitsu academies, they'll just be like, okay, you warm up, they show a technique, maybe a couple of techniques, and then you roll. And that's it. This was more of a centered around concepts, and he builds around that, which I thought was it's pretty well because it helps instill that basic kind of knowledge or fundamental of how you actually approach jiu-jitsu. As opposed to like, oh, here's just some random move, and hopefully you might actually use it.
It's like a graduate course almost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like whenever they set it up and it's like an open discussion kind of deal. And like one of the things that Edgar does is he adds in a lot of like philosophy with it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like how you would use it, why you would use it, what your mentality and the purpose of using that technique is.
Oh yeah.
And that's what's blown my mind since being at, Jiu-Jitsu
I
Academy
noticed that
Stillwater.
he's I've had a lot of college professors, and Edgar's probably been the better teacher of all of them. It's been probably teaching like maybe 10, 15 years. Like I was in the OSU's like fire and safety like major. You know, there's a lot of people that knows a lot of their stuff, like chemistry, safety, and all the people that really know their stuff. He's the only one that's really broke it down so everybody could understand that, even the most,
The
basic
greenest
level.
guy can come in.
The greenest guy can understand and just go with it. And honestly, I really appreciate it. And that's probably what a lot of people need, especially when someone walks in, because I'm real shy when I'm coming into a gym, like going into Muay Thai. I had no idea. They basically they put me onto the bag for like 2 weeks until I was able to kind of
I was the one that taught you how to kick, right?
this guy would hold pads for me while I kicked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big dude. My leg is about his body.
It's like a 40-pound leg.
It's not fun when it's like a much bigger person holding past.
Exactly, but he really worked on me with like technique and stuff like that. Like, the only one that really took interest in me. But as soon as I got there, Edgar was just kind of like, "Hey, let's, we're all going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to work with this guy, and any questions you holler." It was very big classroom oriented, but also singular.
Yeah.
Classroom oriented.
It's very much like the team took mantras, unity through teamwork, and jiu-jitsu is very much a team-oriented type of art. Like you need a team. I need the guy who doesn't know very much that's just going to spaz out on me and use his strength. I need the guy who's super tech. I need the guy that's in between that can just put a ton of pressure on me and make me uncomfortable. I need the guy who knows the submissions but isn't very good at finishing.
Mm-hmm.
So he moves in these awkward ways. I need all those things to understand each opponent better. And that's one of the things that I never got whenever I was at a lot of other schools that I've been at. Like ever since leaving for college, whenever I left Houston and I left the team that we had at Chokelahoma MMA with Rich, Sijin, and Raul and all our other friends, I went to go to college, and I was just bouncing around from school to school. I went to a Gracie Baja gym. I went to a little no-name gym that had some nobody coach, and I'm not going to say his name. And then I've gone and done Muay Thai, and I've had this coach and that coach, and I never fit. I never found the guy who actually gave me jiu-jitsu. Like I never dove into the art because no one actually clicked with me. And Edgar's the first one to be able to do that. Just made it interesting. Like I was going to ask you, do you consider yourself a martial artist now, or do you consider yourself more of an athlete?
It's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't really think about it in that terms. I feel like I have to do both. Like, on the one hand, I am trying to get better. I'm trying to learn techniques and concepts that'll help me improve my art. But at the same time, like I was mentioning before, like about conditioning, I do have to treat it like I'm an athlete. I do have to prepare my body to be able to compete.
Right.
Like, you're not. I don't feel like you can just, like some schools are, it's just roll for like an hour or whatever and expect that to prepare you to like for fighting.
Oh yeah.
Or spar. You're like, no, you have to go above and beyond that. You have to treat yourself like you're an athlete. If it's one thing, if it's I'm just training to just learn,
Right.
be able to defend myself. But if you're actually going to go out and compete, you have to treat yourself as an athlete, and you have to train like an athlete.
Right.
So I think it's just a fine balance between both. Because yeah, you can be a martial artist because you're developing a craft.
Right.
So yeah, you're a martial artist. At the same time, you need to prepare your body to be able to compete.
Right.
Do you put more emphasis on speed and agility and strength, or do you put more emphasis on the timing of things and the calmness and the mental attitude and the awareness of the fight?
I think I just do a bit of like everything really. Like I feel like the calmness and all of that comes with honing your craft, and the speed, flexibility, and power and whatever comes with preparing yourself as an athlete. Like it all should go hand in hand, I believe, because I mean it's a sport at the end of the day, you know.
Yes.
So you got to treat it as you're an athlete competing, so you need to combine everything together. But I also feel like everyone's different. Like, if you go and see, I know from like watching fights, you can tell, like, there's people that have like a calm attitude and go into the fight and kind of flow, and it works. But then you have those guys that come in and just go 100% right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that strategy works and sometimes it doesn't. It
Right.
kind of depends on who you're fighting.
Right.
Like a recent example I can think of is probably Cerrone. Cerrone normally when he fights, he kind of like takes a while to get
Very
his
Muay
gears
Thai.
going, right?
Right.
Well, he's had problems with against guys that just go straight at him right away.
Right.
Darren Till,
Can't tell you.
Dos Anjos,
Lawler.
Robbie Lawler. Did he fight Pettis too?
No, I don't think he fought Pettis, but he fought Jorge Masvidal, and he,
Masvidal is very much a pressure guy.
yeah. He went in and just went straight for his,
Yeah.
his gut that's always been kind of injured. He's always been susceptible to kind of gut shots. I say that, I hate that, because I'm a big, like, Donald Cerrone fan.
Like that, dude. He
That's
has,
like also-
he has the cowboy Muay Thai shorts. Like when we have Muay
Like
Thai
the,
grill-outs,
like the BMF ranch ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They're my favorite. American flag. They have BMF on it and a cowboy on the back of it. Oh yeah, shit.
And yeah, it's like that style works against. Then you have like Ngannou versus Stipe. Clearly, that did not work for him.
No, he didn't train wrestling or ground whatsoever. He just relied on power.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way,
Derek Lewis.
he's fighting Derek Lewis.
Yes. And
Your guy,
Dude,
Houston's
Houston Zone, man.
yeah,
Houston Zone. That's our dude right now. I mean, that's all we got now.
yeah. And it's funny, Derek Lewis.
I
You
mean, we
see
got
the
Mike
way
Jackson.
he fights, and he's
Mike
very.
Jackson.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We did have Mike Jackson.
We got Mike.
Yeah,
I love
For one
Mike.
fight,
I love Mike Jackson. He,
Mike Jackson's
like,
awesome.
I got to see him only for one time, and it wasn't even like an MMA. Like, well, I guess it was an MMA, not UFC. I saw him at an LFA event.
Uh-huh.
It was Victor's fight back home, and they needed someone to film. I might have said this story. I might have said this story already on one of the podcasts, but like he really like took me and really showed me what to do. He really kind of got engaged with me, really talked with me like a person, not like a.
Mm.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the sport, and I kind of train. Like, well, I train.
you train a lot.
I don't even like most people think I was like, you do all this like 5 days, sometimes 4 days.
Sometimes, yeah.
I was just like, yeah, whatever. But he really kind of like talked with me, and you know, he was real open with talking, very friendly guy, very friendly. Always friendly.
Yeah, my son's awesome.
He's like from the first day I met him, dude. Like he's always been real cool.
Yeah, he's always chill, down to earth guy.
Yeah, and like he's one of the only guys that has like a little bit of notoriety in Houston that I've met from the MMA scene. Like even some of the guys that, like even Daniel Pineda that made it to UFC. For my first smoker fight, which is like an unsanctioned fight,
Right.
Daniel Pineda and Black Beast were sitting outside the cage.
Yeah.
And they talked to me real quick. They don't know who I am.
No.
Mike could talk to you once and he'll recognize your face. He'll be like, hey man, what's up?
Right.
And like one of the guys that every time I see him, he's like, hey Vic, what's up? And I was like, man, that's just a cool guy, and it's refreshing to meet somebody like that in the sport.
Oh yeah. One of the coolest guys I think I've met.
And he's
Like,
gonna put those hands on CM Punk.
Oh.
I love CM Punk.
oh, for real.
He's gonna put the hands on.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Work, son. He put that Houston Mortar on.
I'm excited to see that happen.
Yeah.
I said I wasn't gonna do it, and I did it.
You gotta put your phone away, man. It's an addiction.
I did it, man.
Do you ever do like those like cleanses? Like
No,
from,
well-
from a technology cleanse. You know, there's those body cleanses and mind cleanses.
Yeah.
There's a technology cleanse that you can do. Like starts off 1 hour without your phone. You put your phone away, and then you get it. What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Oh, snap, dude. You need a tech cleanse. That's
No,
what-
but here's the other thing though, because like I started, because I've been working with sponsors and other companies and all this stuff, right? Like I've been on my phone and making phone calls to this person and that person and trying to get like deals done. Like I feel I'm what I hate. I'm a capitalist right now, and I can't stand it. I'm having to do business work, and I'm a fighter. This is not right.
Hey,
This goes against my teachings.
but are you making money? There you go. That's
Shit.
what I'm talking
Dollar
about.
bills, yeah. Still can't afford my car payments or my student loans.
Hey, you know, that's just one thing.
I picked the wrong major.
Education? You
It's
said
okay.
you went to college.
That's okay.
did.
Sijin is an English
I
major.
did and I do.
Not education.
I have a degree in creative writing,
Creative writing.
and I'm going back to school again for a degree in logistics.
Logistics?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what do you plan to do with logistics?
Not exactly sure at the moment. Trying to figure all that out.
All of it?
Logistics, you mean you could use it for anything. I mean, how,
Yeah, there's a wide
like,
variety of fields that fall under
hell,
the
I
whole
mean,
umbrella.
even like mailing stuff like UPS.
Mm.
They pay.
I mean, we both
logistics.
worked at UPS. That was
Yeah.
the job that Rich got us.
Yeah. No, Rich didn't give me that. I was working there. I was actually working at UPS before I even met Rich. And then we just happened to find out, like, oh, you work at UPS too? Because we worked different shifts.
Mhm.
But it was kind of fun.
Dude, the funniest thing was that, like, everybody that was fighting with you under that.
Like, he,
gym,
like, got jobs for everybody.
everybody was working at UPS. Like, me and Raul were sitting there. Okay, so Raul, let's just describe Raul real quick. Like, describe his personality and his demeanor, like, to a person who doesn't know him like we do. Like, from the outside, he seems like a rough.
Yeah, he
humble kind of guy.
seems. He kind of looks like, I don't know, Hispanic dude, kind of thuggish looking, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the chicken feet tattoo.
I mean, he's got the
He's
Aztec.
got the
warrior
giant,
with
like,
chicken
Aztec
feet.
warrior on
With chicken
his.
feet.
We
With
call it
chicken feet.
chicken feet because it's got chicken feet.
It's got
kinda
chicken
like,
feet.
Why you got chicken foot on your arm, bro?
And
But,
it's,
like, it's
it wasn't
skinny.
really that great of a tattoo either.
Right.
It's because it just kind of like, I don't know, kind of like dissolved and like.
Now he's got like a samurai and all kinds
Yeah,
of
he
stuff.
got it all like cleaned up and
Right.
had work to it though, so it actually looks like a decent tattoo.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was funny. 'Cause
So
I-
he looks kind of rough, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
like in Houston, like the bangers, right, were the guys. They were a little bit oversized T-shirts and
Right.
crisp, clean Dickies, right?
Right.
And like the double T-shirts, like a red one and a white one on bottom or
Right.
whatever, and then like a rosary or something like that. Southside fade,
Sounds
Southside fade, and some earrings, right?
Yeah.
So this was Raul, right? Looks and mean looking. I mean, like,
Right.
wait, he's a teddy bear, really, but he
Yeah,
looks
he's a-
mean,
he's a teddy
right? And like, I'd only met him like a handful of times, and we been training together, and now
Right.
we're working together, right? And so we're working on this thing called it's the air dock.
Right.
So the air dock gets like all these weird packages. Like there's a fish box that comes out of it that's got live fish in it. There's stuff that's going to zoos.
There's a
Right.
box full of bull semen.
Yeah, there's all kinds of just weird things, right?
Okay.
One of them that they like to send, well, two things they like to send is crickets and spiders.
Okay.
A box filled with crickets and spiders opened up. Raul, who I thought was Thug City at this point, opens up the thing and goes, "Ah!" And I was like, what happened? What happened? You okay, dude? He's like, there's spiders! And I was like, what?
You don't like bugs either.
And I
You
see,
can't- you can't say much.
I see like these little baby
Raul
spiders, bro.
has arachnophobia.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
like will freak.
Wow.
Like he is not about no.
I forgot about those boxes of crickets. Yeah, you get those.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's freaked
And when they
out.
bust open, they're
Everywhere.
everywhere. And then you're like, I don't want to clean that up. Like, I don't want to touch
How do you
crickets.
clean that up? Shit.
They just brush them away.
It was so funny though, dude. Like it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Damn.
Some characters that you
I
realized,
never heard that story.
dude, it was hilarious.
It was. Probably exaggerating the whole screen.
No, it was that high pitch. Like I hope he sees this podcast, so I can be like, yeah, dude, you screamed that loud.
Well, that's funny.
But he'll be like, yeah, dude, I am Thug City.
Raul is a perfect example of.
So he's like, what? It means yes, we can. It's the Chicano, like.
No, it's how can I put it? You see guys, a lot of like fans or whatever, like criticize, say, in the NBA, like, oh, this guy sucks.
Right.
And it's like, no, that guy doesn't suck. He's in the NBA. Clearly,
Right.
he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
It's just there's people way better.
Right.
But in MMA, really, you can go just pretty much go off of someone's record.
Right.
You're like, oh, you see a guy with a losing record, like, oh, this guy sucks.
Right.
Even though you've never seen the guy fight.
Mhm.
Raul is like one of those guys, a perfect example of his record is like not very good, but you train with him and you like spar with him and you're like, this guy's really good.
Mhm.
Just
There's-
the nastiest body shots I've ever
There's a lot of guys that train and have come up that have not very good records,
Mhm.
but yet they're like fucking killers.
Savages,
All of them.
dude.
I feel like MMA is one of those, well, really a lot of athletic sports, but MMA and combat sports in general is so much of it is mental.
Yeah.
You have all these people that will be like killers in the gym, but then when it comes fight night and they're under those lights and they're fighting in front of their families and
Oh,
friends,
I couldn't imagine that.
you freeze up.
Yeah.
You just shut down. Your technique goes out the window.
Mhm.
You get tired all of a sudden, and so to like someone watching who has no idea, like, oh, this guy sucks, and it's like, no, they actually don't suck, and they actually put in the work. But just when those lights come on, it's just a whole other
And
story.
he's very much a victim of that slow to start too.
Yeah,
Because he just starts trucking you. Every round you see him grow a little bit more, dude.
Yeah.
Once you get to that third round, like if he had a 5-round fight, dude, you see a murderer out there. But I mean, he's just.
and that's one of those things too. It also, you get nerves and stuff when you get in there, and it takes getting hit a couple of times, or it might take a round for you to start warming up and getting comfortable, and then
Right.
letting your technique show.
Right.
But when you have a limited number of rounds and a limited number of time, some people it just takes a lot longer, and then by the time they do, it's round fight's already over.
One round, no time limit.
Is that
Probably
is that
back in the day. Actually,
ideal?
it's-
Is that ideal? Like for you, or like if you were to,
I like.
if you were gonna make,
I
your
would-
own, if you were gonna make your
for me.
own promotion, how would you have it? Sijin
Yeah,
first.
Sijin first.
I would probably do it the way ONE FC does it.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of do like the concept of having rounds, just because, whatever the fight's not going right for you, or you
Breaks
might
up.
not be seeing anything. You go back to your corner's like, hey, he's doing this.
Right.
You need to start working on this, or just saying, hey, relax.
Right.
This is what you do. This is
Right.
what you enjoy. And then having that kind of just calming you down and remembering your technique and everything.
Mhm.
Like, I don't mind doing that. But I do like the way they do it, where they judge the whole fight as a whole instead of just doing round by round. Because you might have a guy that takes him down for like 4 rounds but doesn't really do anything.
Right.
And the last round, the other guy might just beat the crap out of him. And it's
Or-
like, who really
Yeah.
won the fight?
Stuff like Johnny Hendricks and GSP.
Yeah.
Like that. That was kind of a weird thing where, you know.
GSP did more, but
Johnny
did more
tapped.
damage.
Nope.
I tapped to that guillotine. I synced it. I replayed it 20 times. Slow motion. Johnny tapped. Doing this for
Maybe
emphasis.
he was trying to like
Telling me, hey, stop that, I'm choking.
posture up.
I'm saying, hey, stop that, I'm choking. Let me go, I don't want to die. I just want to go home and eat
Maybe
steak.
he was just trying to do the
I just
fan
want to go
tap.
home and not
He was
make
trying to do
weight.
the fan tap like Chael Sonnen.
I just want to go home and not make weight.
Yeah.
Boo, Johnny Boo. The pig rig.
But yeah, because they allow what? Knees on the ground.
Yeah.
Two hits to the head. Oh.
It's awesome.
Dude, that's brutal. So you get hit with it.
What do you
Yeah.
think about weight cutting? I know you're at 115 and stuff, but like, do you think that the way that like major organizations like UFC, Bellator, or do you think like ONE FC where they actually kind of measure the hydration levels?
I kind of wonder how that actually is, any effective. Because it seems like the champs are still the same champs and they're still in the same
They
weight
just
classes.
basically they moved everything up like maybe 10 pounds for.
No, because I think they're still the same weight.
Oh, it's the same name for it. They just kind of like move things around on it. From what I've seen.
So wait, straw weight is not 115?
I think it is. I think they just moved the champions, or they're working on it right now. Like it's in.
Yeah, because I haven't seen anything actually like change.
Right
I
now-
heard them
right-
talk about it, but
right now
nothing-
it's in the working period because they're still trying to finalize. On
So how big are the 115 pounders going to be?
115.
they don't want. They pretty much want to measure you throughout the year, see where your weight's at, and then see where you are at the beginning of fight week, and then how much you lose.
Yeah, it's.
Because they don't want you to like.
So guys like us that actually float close to our weight classes are
it's
going to
like-
benefit from that.
Yeah,
It's gonna be like,
You're not going to get Damasio Page who weighs 160 cutting down to 125.
or like
Yeah.
Darren Till. It's gonna
Yeah.
be like walking around.
I was never a big proponent of like a massive amount of like weight cutting.
I used to weight cut a lot, and then
Because I feel like it works, maybe like early in your career, but as you get older,
Right.
it doesn't work.
dude, and then it's a cut to your health.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
And
Yeah.
for me, like, when I started out, I was 117 pounds.
Mhm.
So I'd fight at 125, so I wasn't cutting any weight. And it wasn't until after my toward the end of my amateur career and then the beginning of my pro career, where they started having a 115 pound class in
Right.
Texas. So I started having to cut then, but even then, I cut maybe like 5 pounds the week of the fight,
Mhm.
which isn't. It sucked, but it wasn't like miserable. I wasn't dying like a lot of these guys are, like cutting like 20, 30 pounds
But you look at me, dude.
because I'm talking to people.
You're suggesting something.
No.
Anyway, do you have a hard time finding 115 fights? Or
At the
were you-
beginning of my career, I had 2 115 fights in a row. Actually, no. I think I had 4. Most of my fights at pro have been at 115.
Okay.
But yeah, they're not as many people. I think I just got lucky. Just happened to find people at the right time.
Right.
But yeah, I've seen it more and more guys coming out saying they fight at 115, but everyone's so spread out over the U.S. And especially at the regional level, it's hard finding promotions willing to fly people out.
I get you.
Because really, at the regional level, they only make money off of like ticket sales.
Right.
And so they want to put fighters that sell tickets.
Right.
Because that's how they're gonna make money.
Right.
So it's kind of hard for them to like fly people in from out of state that aren't really gonna sell tickets, because majority of fans that go to these local fights they come because they know someone.
Yeah, they know the fight.
It's very rarely do you see someone that actually like, oh no, I just want to like see fights.
Yeah.
Because even in Houston, we have fights every month. And,
2 almost, right?
yeah. Well, no, it's mostly like every month now. Especially since like LFA rarely is in Houston anymore. They your casual MMA fan that you might see watching UFC at Buffalo Wild Wings, they don't even know that there's fights going on.
Yeah, that's true.
The promotion of the
It's
sport
not-
on that level has to be done so
Part of it
differently.
though, these promotion companies don't want to spend the money to really promote. It's much cheaper just having the fighters promote themselves.
Right. I mean, that was the good thing about Legacy FC before it became LFA, is that Mick was willing to spend that money.
No.
I
No.
kept seeing the billboards everywhere, I thought.
Eventually, but they still relied on. They gave fights to guys that sold tickets.
Oh, yeah.
That was why it was kind of hard for me to get fights too, just because I didn't sell a lot of tickets. And then it actually affects your career because they would give title shots to guys who had maybe had like one fight because
Everything's
they sold a
popularity
bunch of tickets.
contest,
It's
man.
a popularity contest.
This
really.
is America. This is America.
It's if you did it, you had to go the hard route. You have to go out of town. You have to
Right.
and when you go out of town, you're not gonna get an easy guy. You're gonna fight probably their best guy.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to have a bunch of losses or a bunch of wins just to be able to get yourself to the point where guys that sell a bunch of tickets can maybe get there in like 3 fights. They'll fight 2 or 3 bums and then they'll get like a title fight.
I get you. We've seen a couple of those guys. Just from where I've been to like a couple of MMA fights, I can see that are like hometown favorites and stuff like that. They all have the same color T-shirt, his fight shirt. And
Well, a lot of it is you're getting these guys that go to these mega gyms.
Yes.
These huge gyms, right? Like even in Oklahoma, we've got 2 or 3 huge gyms.
Like track or something.
You say that again?
Huge gyms.
Not the way you said it earlier.
2 or 3 huge gyms.
Because you were very Trump-esque the way you said that.
No, it's huge. If you were gonna say it like that, you gotta say huge.
I think the way you said it earlier was a lot closer.
But like they've got these big gyms, right? Now I can't stop saying gyms. It's become that thing, the texture of the word that you just want to continue saying it. Texture. Yeah, dude. They're like you've just got these big gyms, and like so they're selling tickets to all the kids and all the moms of the kids and all the dads of the kids that come train. So it's not necessarily that they have fans; it's that they have kids and they have just an audience to sell to.
Right.
It's not that they necessarily appreciate them as a fighter. It's not that they necessarily like them as a person. It's just like, oh, that guy goes to my gym. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll go.
Or that guy's an instructor at their gym. Like
Yeah.
that guy teaches their kids. So
You know,
it's
it's different for guys like me, AJ, and Sijin, and our friend Christian Lira. That
typically
we
a smaller gym.
we have a smaller
So it's
gym.
not
We're
like-
homegrown guys. We're
Yeah.
not, these guys that got recruited to these bigger camps.
Right.
And I think you would benefit way more from smaller gyms.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I was talking about this to Victor earlier, like, these big mega gyms, I feel like it kind of hurts sometimes because unless you're, like, a really big name there, you don't really get that kind of one-on-one coaching.
Right.
It's more like you just kind of, like, expect to learn by osmosis, just, like, being around people. And, yeah, it's kind of cool. You get to spar with them. But when you're at a smaller gym, you get your coaches actually like work with you and develop plans specific for you.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can develop more that way as opposed to like being in a big gym and just.
Well, I mean that's always good because like if you're at a smaller gym, you probably have like what's it called, like other gyms that you affiliate gyms that you can go like. I know there's an affiliate gym that's across town. They got kind of a bigger selection of guys. That's kind of my way. It's like, hey coach, I'm gonna go here and maybe go spar, go roll with a couple of these guys. I mean, we have a couple like we don't have one that's close to us. Our closest one is in Houston, right?
Our affiliate.
Yeah, like
Well, we're an affiliate of Team Took.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So then you have to travel all the way over there.
Yeah.
For
We're basically the satellite for the main gym.
exactly.
That's in Oklahoma, yeah. Which is actually.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a teammate.
We're all part of the same family.
I know in Houston, there's like a ton of gyms there.
Mm-hmm.
So like for me, I well, like on the weekends, I'll go to other gyms and
Right.
have different training partners and get a different look and things like that. Even if, well, just because also with me, just having been in the scene for so long, like you'll get friends from different gyms and whatnot, and so you get to go over, you train with them, bring back what you learned, but I still have that core focus of my head coach, so I can still get that personal like development.
Yes.
But at the same time, I get to like see different people and.
I mean, it's just like that. So you learn more by traveling a little bit. Like you go travel, you go learn from guys that might have a different perspective. That different perspective might make it click a little bit more for you in a certain way. Because you're like, I never thought of it that way, or I never thought of it, doing this instead of that. Like it might always been that one like flow chart that everybody kind of follows, and then you might have like a whole separate like film to it that you could be like, I could do this, but I got this other thing that I kind of learned, and I also got this other thing, and you kind of built your tree a little bit better.
I actually appreciate the familiarity. Like I like having my core people.
Yeah.
Like that's very much my attitude when it comes to. I was telling Sijin about this the other night. I was like, honestly, other than Christian and Sijin, anyone else that's even remotely next to my weight class from any other gym, I don't care about you. Like I want you to be hurt. I don't like you.
Right.
Like other than Sijin and Christian, I don't want anyone else near me that's near my weight class.
Right.
Like, get away from me.
That's because you're just a cocky
It's
bastard.
my homies against the world. That's how I view it. Like I don't want anyone. I don't want the enemy near me.
You want to keep playing with that thing?
I am because it's become my fidget now.
It's becoming a fidget. I actually was about to get you a fidget thing so you can play with during these like podcasting because I know you're real bad at it.
Dude, I am as ADD as the kids that I work with.
I was about to say,
Like I have those
I've
issues
seen
now.
that thing. Like I've been around. Would you say quite a bit of fighters?
Yeah.
Here in these last couple of years, Sijin is the only one that I feel like is not that way. Like he's very collected. He knows he's willing to talk about things. He's very focused. And I know it's just kind of from the very beginning. Like you're not as fidgety as like some of them.
I'm kind of a calm person.
Yeah, he's a different breed.
Although it took me a while to get to this point because I know I did like radio shows before and I would say maybe like 1-2 words at the most and then I wouldn't say anything.
At least
But it
the
took-
shyness.
Yeah, that's too.
Shyness or something like this is just. I don't know. It's just a podcast. We're just talking. We're bullshitting back and forth.
Yeah.
That's really what I wanted this to do.
For me, like my coach will always take me out to these things and make me do interviews and then just help me get used to being and speaking in that role.
Yeah, I like this a little bit better because I don't talk. Like this is the first time I've talked in a long time, and then like people on YouTube seem to kind of like it, and then it just became a thing. It became a thing. Hashtag. Or the hashtag. What is that? The pound sign hashtag.
One of the things I was gonna say is like one of my favorite interviews that Sijin has is and I think I was there whenever they were interviewing.
Oh, that one I did for Cage Door?
Yeah, and they're asking you about like what's your diet been like? And he's like, shout out to Skittles for letting me taste the rainbow.
No, they asked me like, yeah, anyone you want to thank? And yeah, I was like, yeah, I did Skittles. Let me taste the rainbow. Was that Haagen-Dazs?
You said Haagen-Dazs, I think.
I don't eat. I think Bluebell because I eat Bluebell. I don't eat
It
Haagen-Dazs.
was like Haagen-Dazs.
No, yeah, exactly.
Dude, like I just remember dying of laughter whenever it was.
I think it is something about. I said something about unicorns.
Wait,
Dude, it's the greatest interview that's ever been done ever.
It's somewhere out there.
Vic was telling me like you walked out to Hot Cheetos and Takis.
I walked out of Hot Cheetos and Takis, and that was my idea actually because I heard it. I saw it on YouTube and I'm like, this is catchy. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna walk out to this. And then we actually got like bags of Hot Cheetos and Takis. And was it you and Corbin?
Dude, I wasn't there anymore.
Oh, you weren't there?
This
Oh,
was
never mind.
like when I
It
went
was
to college.
Corbin and someone else. They got the bags and they were throwing it out in the crowd.
There was something else that he added to that mix that he's leaving out.
What? That was the second best walkout.
Okay, what?
The first,
Gotta tell them about
Best
that walkout
walkout.
too.
so a couple, maybe like 2 weeks before my fight, I heard from my coach and another guy that would train with us, and that they had a plan for my walkout.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, you'll find out. And I'm like, okay. So here I am, warming up for my fight, trying to get in the zone and whatnot. And then these girls walk up to my coach and this guy. They're like, oh, hey, and they pull up a bag and go, oh, hey, your outfits are in here. And I'm like, what's going on here? They're like, oh, don't worry, you'll see. Whatever. And then they walk out, and they're all in, like, bikinis and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wait, coaches?
No, these girls that they hire.
Oh, okay.
They hire these girls
I was
as
about to
bikinis.
say, like,
And then, I guess, I don't think we discussed this, but my fighting nickname, because my coach is an asshole, is Dirty Aladdin. So they had...
Because my coach is an asshole.
That's literally what it was. He's like, hey, you should be Dirty Aladdin. I'm like, but that's not even from this, like, where my family's from. That's Aladdin's like in the Middle East.
But Aladdin, the traditional story, he's supposed to be Indian.
no,
So,
that's definitely not.
that's
Yeah,
not
he's supposed to be Indian.
He said he's specifically from like Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
He's like the story that Aladdin is taken from. He's supposed to be Indian.
No.
Yeah, dude. Give me my phone so I can Google it.
Anyways,
You don't
as
need
the
that
story
phone.
goes, so they had signs with the Disney character Aladdin in it, and it said like "Dirty Aladdin is here" or something like that.
Yeah.
That's not the ending. So they were holding those signs. I had chosen my walkout as "The Payback" by James Brown,
Okay.
which was an awesome song,
Oh, yeah.
and it all worked out with it. Well, there was 2 other people also from my gym that walked out, and they were tossing out into the crowd. And literally, I found this out right before I was going to walk out. They had bags of condoms,
Prophylactics.
and they were throwing it out into the crowd. And little kids were literally running up, thinking it was candy, and trying to pick it up. I was just like, oh.
This is MMA scenes.
So
Dirty Aladdin.
this is like you walking up to the
This is
gate.
as me. I find this out right before they call me to walk out. And I'm like, oh, this is great. But it literally all just worked out to like be this great walkout.
Yeah.
Did
And
you
then I
win
lost
that
the fight.
fight?
I lost the fight. No, that was the worst part. I lost the fight.
Was that the one against the wrestler that was in the ring?
No.
No.
That was when I started. I was at Gold Team. I think it was my first fight there. It was against a 4-ounce kid.
No.
And then like one of his family or friends in the crowd started talking crap. They're like, well, what about your big walkout now? And I think my coach got in his face.
Rich does that.
Yeah.
Rich is very much like your old school tough man.
Man.
Like he'll like back
He
you up.
fought a couple tough men, didn't he?
I think so.
Wow.
I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know. He keeps changing his story.
sometimes it happens. Different, but same story.
He fought an alligator. I don't know.
This one time, dude, he strangled a Power Ranger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, also, I just wanted to fill you in because I checked out the time and we're at an hour. And I wanted to let you know about the joke. That me and Sijin have been doing this the whole time.
Mostly you've been doing that.
Because we watched an Indian guru guy talk about the F word, and he was doing
The
this the whole
different.
time.
He talked about the multitude of ways you can use the F word.
Yeah, the different,
Yeah.
like the adjective, all those things.
He,
The verb,
That
a
makes sense.
noun.
That makes sense.
He was
So
doing
we just
this,
kept
and so
doing
he
this,
had
and
this
I
idea
said,
of
we're
doing
gonna
that.
do this the whole
in-
time we're on the
in
podcast.
the whole interview.
And so I've
These
been
are like
doing
these
this.
stupid little jokes.
And
that you
it's
think
so
that
much
only-
fun.
it's
He
only
thinks-
funny-
I'm
it's
like,
only
only
funny for-
him and I will get it. No one else is gonna get it.
Like when he was like trying to like trick me about you and stuff like that. That was it was like what you do is like if you're gonna eat meat around him, don't look at him.
You did tell
And
me
then it was
about
just
that.
like I was like, okay, well I'm going to be eating.
That's the running
meat.
joke everyone has with me. Like no one thinks that I'm Catholic, so
Right.
they'll be like assume I'm some other religion and I have all these dietary restrictions and stuff.
Well, I didn't like. I don't know what to think. Like he was telling me this, and I was like, oh, well,
You do have dietary restrictions.
I mean, I'm gonna.
That's
be,
because I'm allergic to everything, but that's beside the case.
But I was like,
I'm not die.
I was very like mild to it because I was like, well, I'm gonna be eating meat, and I normally talk to people like looking at them. So I'm very. That's gonna be something hard if he's not gonna like that. Then he's probably gonna not like me and probably not want to do this interview. So he's probably gonna have to deal with it. Exactly. And then something along the line like, what was the other stuff that you were saying?
Oh, there's just
Don't ask about his religion or
yeah.
something.
Don't ask.
Don't
Dude,
ask
it's
about that.
disrespectful.
Disrespectful. Like I wasn't even. That's not even on like.
I was like, Charlie, I'm just telling
That's not
you.
even. Like that's not even on my list of questions that I've been like working on for this. Like, it was more like, how'd you get into fighting, stuff like that. You know, and just normal. We're gonna bullshit from there.
It's kind of like the one we have, like, please address all my questions. When it's fight time, Charlie's my handler.
Please address all 5 questions.
All 5 questions go through Charlie.
I believe you used that before.
I'm not very good at it. Normally, people are just like, so what does Vic want then? I was like,
I'm not having talked to him.
Like that's basically it. Like for the last couple of fights, it's just been like, you know what, Vic, I'm not your handler for a while. You're gonna have to do this on your own. You're gonna have to talk to people. You're gonna have to. You can't. I can't let you be this baby bird anymore. You gotta be you gotta be this ostrich that you gotta be, or emu or whatever.
No, he said ostrich.
Yeah, you're an
Dude,
ostrich.
I don't have
You like to stick
ostrich
your head.
legs.
You like to
You
stick your
can't
head in the
fly.
ground.
I can't. I'm a peacock.
You're not.
Peacocks don't really fly.
They
Okay,
fly.
I think get a
They're
run
like
start.
Get it right.
They're like
Yes!
They're like chickens.
I have the.
I've been attacked by a chicken.
Same.
I was glad when it died.
Dude, like they're no joke. Like I got text.
I'm agile like a peacock with the face of a monkey.
Okay, first of all, that doesn't make sense. 2 different species. They probably should put that thing down. Like honestly, if those 2 things had the same, like in the same DNA, they should probably
are
put
you
that.
like a sphinx or something, or where'd you go?
He went to the restroom.
No.
Normally he's already gone like 3 or 4 times in this. He can't like last the full like hour or
I think he
something
has
without
been
going to the
drinking. You haven't been drinking your water, have you?
He has. It's just that it's the aminos that really shoot through his ass. It's too much. Anyway.
I don't think they heard that.
Yeah, they don't. They don't need to hear that.
No.
This is just one of these things that we're gonna have to deal with because Vic's unprofessional when he comes and does these things.
First off, what grown man has his pockets showing through his pants?
Like, hold my pocket. That's basically what that means. No one needs to see this. First of all, you're blocking Sijin, so get down. This is the Chokelahoma podcast. I'm making goddamn rules.
Choke his ass out.
Yeah, that's something I can't do. I can hit a mean Kimura, maybe an armbar.
You can head kick him.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
I'll duck underneath and take him down.
Dude, I've done that so many times. It's not even funny.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Okay, get over here.
What are
and
you
stop
doing?
being
You're
lazy.
trying to hide behind you so I don't block your camera.
It's okay. Here, just chill right here. You're making everything weird now.
I know.
I need the light to shine on me, otherwise you can't see me.
I'll say you guys look a lot bigger than like I look like a giant compared to y'all. But I mean, like
We look jacked.
I know,
I
right?
like this. We look huge. Like I'm loving this camera. Like I can't stop.
you all got chill.
Look at that, dude.
Well, dang, you guys don't give yourself enough credit.
Pro
You
fighters.
are pro fighters.
Well, him on his way to being one.
On his way, he's getting there. But that's still
I mean,
impressive.
until it actually happens.
I'd speak truth into
What if you stub your toe right before and
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
There's the guy found
So I'm
out.
gonna stub my toe now. And when I do it, I'm gonna be like, damn it, Sijin!
Hey, for his what is it? Your gladiator fight, you got this.
Yeah, so like, okay, I was running in the mornings to go and like cut weight and stuff to get my metabolism going, right? So I'd wake up at like 4 in the morning, run, come back, sleep, and I'd eat, and then I'd go to work. And so wake up this morning, and it's like the week of the fight, dude. And I'm exhausted by this point. I still got a couple pounds to go, right? and I'm kind of rough right now. So I was getting up and I didn't turn on the lights, and I go and wash my face a little bit, just kind of wake me up so I can get it going. And I spray my face off, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sleep in today. Like I can't do it. Like I'm not running. So I walk over to where I thought was my bed, and I just swan dive out of bed. It's the nightstand.
He cuts this thing every time when it's
It's
a really hard
deep.
rolling, like a hard rolling session,
Uh-huh.
or every time that he fights, it keeps getting like opened up.
Like
Is that why you don't run anymore?
that's why I don't run. That night, it's because of the yogas.
The
Dude.
yogas?
Tell me that my hippie stuff doesn't work though.
Wait a minute.
Well, he's only been here for
He
barely
likes-
a week.
I think he's tasted the water day.
It doesn't mean anything.
He's tasted the water.
You only can be here a month. If you've been here for a month, and then that's when you can fully decide if you like it, you see the benefits and everything. You don't see it like in the first week, which
I did Bang Muay Thai, and I didn't think anything of it. Because I did it once.
How did you like yoga? Are you believe in the yogas?
I mean, it's yoga, man.
Yeah, it works.
I do like the way Melissa does her yoga.
Dude.
It's
Changed my work.
super
I'm not gonna
intense.
lie.
I didn't.
I understand half the things she said. I'm like, I don't speak that language.
No, they're not. Like you're not supposed to know. Like I don't know any.
But
other
she
things.
just
I
saying it, and I was just like, what?
do the things, man.
Ooh,
I
I
just
just know this.
I just do the poses.
I did notice that.
I just
like,
say
after the couple of times that I
I
went,
wanted to say baby body.
the baby bump, yeah. I wanted to. I'm trying to focus on what I'm saying.
I'm just
Anyway.
trying to tell you all.
I will say that it did help out my feet a whole bunch. It was a that night, and I freaking destroyed my foot rolling with a guy. Just hurt it and everything. Yoga was the only thing that like super like healed it like super quick. Like, just because it helped like build the muscles up in my foot and I guess the small tendons that I really hurt because I don't know what happened. I was on this dude's back and then he tried rolling me off and everything, but like I tried to stop it, so I kind of activated my foot. So he rolled on top of my foot and I heard a pop, like from the bridge of my foot to like my ankle, and I was hobbling for a long time. I still feel it, but not to the extent
There's
that
a
it was
t-shirt for this podcast, dude.
hobbling.
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 Hashtag hobbling. You need to put that in like the comments. Hashtag
Hashtag
hobbling.
Yeah, it was
along with all the other hashtags we have. Hashtag sloth jitsu.
Hashtag sloth jitsu. Sloth jitsu is one of my favorites.
that I need that
So
shirt.
we
Hashtag team dad bod.
Yeah.
hashtag team pudding cup.
Pudding cup for the win. Show him the pudding cup. Hashtag show him the pudding cup.
We have a guy that we train with. It's Jared, right?
Yeah.
Jared, the sloth king. He's very slow with his jujitsu, but he's really good. He's really good. But he's like real slow with it. He'll hunt for stuff and like he'll hold on to wrist, and then it's like that. Like he catches you in something that you should have saw a mile away. He just like going super slow with it, and it just happens. Pretty soon he adopted
The sloth moniker.
the sloth moniker.
I mean, you just need to make sure it's off of that. Just,
Dude, he's got a sloth rash guard now.
Yeah,
Really?
I said Tatami.
I can't say it right.
Tatami.
yeah.
Tommy, like Sloth King, the Tommy Sloth King thing, and it just fits his personality so well. It's just how
It's just like,
as on the Sloth. He did the podcast. We did a 30-minute thing just for his super fight that he had.
he smells like eucalyptus too.
Dude, he's a werewolf. How can you be like 6+ feet tall and be like at 170, maybe 160? Like he's just like pure, like lean. Oh, well, you guys.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Is that how he talks?
Yeah, that's kind of how he talks. It's very hard to understand.
I was rolling with him one time.
Very direct.
Did I see him?
No. You haven't got to see him yet.
Alright.
He comes in every now and then. He's one of those guys that
He's,
turns out to
he's got a big beard. It's like you'll notice him.
Yeah.
He freaks me out though. Every time I roll with him, I don't know if it's like hairs in his beard like start shedding or something like that. I remember he had me pinned in the corner, and like he was just, you know how just sweat just happens to drip. So I saw this hair come from right here. And I went, like that, like what was
Like
the
a feather?
like the Pixar feather?
Yeah,
thing?
yeah,
Like, it was
yeah.
like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, it's gonna land on my nose or something. I'm gonna freak out. It didn't land in my nose. It landed in my mouth.
Oh.
Deep in my mouth. And then I was just like, he had his like hand on my throat and everything like that. He thought I was like choking me out. So he's like, boom. I was like, I wasn't even doing it that hard, man. I was like, the hair from your chin, your beard. It was like,
You know what probably would have worked if you had said the word hobbling.
hobbling. I don't know. That shit was terrible. That was the worst. I thought that's the only time I feel like I ever would throw up in like a training session, going, working out in the gym.
I'm not gonna lie, I've had that happen a couple times.
Dude, I told Rich that if he stuck, like if I broke my nose or something, if he stuck a Q-tip up my nose, that I was just gonna freak out. I was like, don't you ever put a Q-tip in my nose, dude. I will freak out. Just like, really? And so like, we go in to get my hair cut before one of these fights, right? And like we went to Sports Clips, so they were like massaging my back and they put the towel on my face, and like the girl was really cute, so I was really in there. I was like, yes. And so I'm like super relaxed and just massaging my back and everything, and then Rich comes up and he goes, and I'm like, ah! And I just spazzed out all over the place, throwing water everywhere, like I went her.
That's a very much a rich thing.
It was so bad, like I was embarrassed. It's when I had my peanut butter hair.
I don't even remember.
When I had the blonde string.
I
Instead of
remember.
the peanut butter.
That's not even my favorite.
I wish I could meet Rich. Like I hear all these stories about him. I only got
You
to meet
don't
him.
want to.
Oh well, if you watch Mike Jackson versus CM Punk, he'll be in Mike Jackson's corner.
He's cornering Mike?
That's what, I just showed you that picture.
I didn't know he was cornering Mike.
Yeah, it's
That is so awesome. I love it.
Crew Bob, Pat Miletich, and then Rich. So clearly, Rich is going to offer no advice because he's got, Crew Bob and Pat
Crew Bob,
Miletich in his corner.
He's there for more.
He'll look like the guy that looks like Fat John Donner.
He is. Hashtag
Oh.
Fat John Donner. Dude, wait, did you tag
did tag him in
Dude,
it.
he
He
did.
replied.
So
I gotta see this.
you gotta check out this picture and then we like show it to the camera.
Okay.
Like there's this this photo on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Y'all just rag on each other from this gym, right?
Dude,
That's all we do.
one of our favorite things to do is like we would just throw stuff at each other's crotches and try and see who could hit each other.
Oh,
That's
no.
Fat John Donner.
Oh.
Fat John Donner.
Dude, let me see.
Fat John Donner.
Dude, you gotta show the camera and say it so that.
Fat John Donner, right there.
Oh, God.
I think this is the best podcast.
I hope Rich.
Oh, but he did
doesn't
take a picture with Roy Jones Jr.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I hope that Rich doesn't look back at this and be like,
Oh, I am going to tag him in it.
Dude, he will wreck you with like just.
I know, I'm probably
The
gonna.
savages.
Once he finds out and I go roll with him, he's a dick when he rolls.
oh yeah.
He
That's
puts
where we invented the dirty butterfly.
dirty
from.
butterfly.
He's
He's
gotten
gonna
the dirty
put-
butterfly. Haven't you gotten the dirty butterfly?
No, actually, Corbin was a dirty butterfly.
No, what was the dirty butterfly?
You take him out, and then you do that with your hands and just smack their face. Just come out.
It's whenever you've bested them and they can't do
They
anything,
can't do
and you don't
anything.
want to submit them out of mercy because you don't
You
like
just
them.
want to embarrass them. Just for dirty butterfly.
Okay.
But Rich is the guy that put like elbows in like your ribs, fingers in your ears, and your orifice, pinch your nose.
Fingers in any orifices
Yeah.
is good in this sport.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
the
to
more
make-
orifices that
So-
fingers you have.
When
So
he's trying to
saying
teach
that
you a point.
you like don't like, fingers in your belly button, like the belly button. Cause
Just you can't tell the enemy is watching, Charlie.
Rich Burmaster, next time you roll with Vic, stick your
Tell
finger
you.
in his belly button and hook it like that,
That sounds
and
painful.
just hold on
sounds
to it.
painful.
Dude, it would freak anyone out,
Yeah,
right?
that would freak me out. Yeah.
And then now, like, I'm.
And then you have that ghost finger in there for about 2 hours.
You just go like this and you go.
Especially if you go deep with it and you just go like that.
See, he fish hooked your belly button.
Dude, he did. In his defense, I told him one time he had wonky nipples.
That's true. Yeah.
Why are you talking about another man's nipples?
Because I was mad. I was angry. I was
Dude,
angry.
It was one. we used to work this job that
I was being hurtful.
it was. We would work like 16-hour days sometimes, like on a week time, with maybe one day off. And he was still training through the entire time, and
This is the same time we were talking about when I get dehydrated. You can see all my scars.
yeah, it was not a good place. Even though
I mean, great people,
great people, but damn it, like you can only go so much.
and it would
Like,
definitely bring the worst out in you. So like you ended up hating the guys that you really
At
hated.
least with like training, like you know that if something was to happen, you can leave.
Yeah.
You can leave. You can reset yourself. Like but this you couldn't leave because it had to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of those things that if you didn't, you lost everything. It was just to that point. Like I'm not trying to make a pity party about it or anything, but
It was
'cause
rough.
it's a long
But
time.
anyways, like the story was like, so it's like 2 a.m. and we're just completely exhausted. Charlie's like dehydrated. I'm dehydrated.
We're all hallucinating at this point.
Yeah.
Like my contacts are all dried up, and I started seeing like people like in the corner of my peripherals,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just my contacts.
So Charlie's just standing there like this for a second because he's basically almost falling asleep, like and trying to like gain the energy to go
Like,
back in and move something
like
else.
I
up.
was like this.
And I walk by and I go, Charlie, you got some wonky ass nipples. And I just walk over, and it was just pure hate. Like, just directing my rage at anything, like a small puppy was there, I would have kicked it. It was so bad. And then, like, he just goes, "Aw." And, like, immediately I regretted what I said. I was like, Charlie, I'm sorry, I'm just hungry and tired. But he's just the saddest I've ever seen Charlie just.
Man, I mean, what do you say? To that?
It's like true.
You don't say anything to that.
Yeah.
And then that next week after that, I figured out the belly button hook, and I've been torturing him ever since.
And that he just goes like this and I go, huh.
Like it's not even like this. It's like
It's a little off to the side.
Dude, look, it's shaking. I don't like that. Like
this has so much power.
it's straight, but this is curved.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
And
hook.
that's what scares
That's the
me.
hook. That's what gets people.
Oh.
Never want to get caught with that.
Dude, you just so like now Matt Lightning Leo is gonna try and belly button hook me, and he's gonna get elbows in his face because you told him to do this. I'm going to name him. For
Honestly, I
life
figure
because
like in a
of
fight, it's not gonna matter. You got so much adrenaline with you. It's shit like that's not gonna affect you.
Oh,
And
no.
tickling doesn't really work.
this. Dude, it totally worked.
Did it?
Totally worked.
What are you talking about?
So me and AJ were going really hard one day.
No, but that's not in a fight.
Okay, well that's in a weird.
That's in sparring, or whatever. But I mean, in a fight, your nerves. I mean, the adrenaline going through you in a fight isn't the same as when you're in sparring.
Right.
It's not the same.
It is the same. Different, but same.
It's like so many things. Like you'll be done with the fight, and then an hour or two later, you're like, "Why does this hurt?
Dude, like when I
Why
was in the
does this
cup.
hurt?"
Like I didn't hurt and then like 40 minutes later, I was just like, something's wrong. I had to go find the doctor, and he's like, he had to go and touch down there and figure out if I had a contusion.
Oh.
It was so scary, dude.
That was your worst injury.
That was the worst thing. That and then like I got hit in the head pretty good that fight, so I was kind of loopy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's good. I mean, not the crotch shot, but
Yeah.
that was rough.
Yeah.
I mean, he had his eyelids split open.
What?
I did.
His
I
eyelid
had
was, like,
my
hanging out.
very first loss. I had to get stitches, and I had stitches on top of my head, which was like that was nothing. But then I had like my bottom eyelid.
Yeah.
Literally, the eyelid was split open, and it kind of went all the way out here, and so I had to get stitches on my eyelid and up in here.
Oh no.
That was pretty
Yeah,
scary.
his face is still all messed up from it.
Did you have to get like knocked out for them to do
No,
it, or did you?
no, it
watch
was
them
literally
sew it?
yeah. Because went to the locker, and the doctor, once he took a look at it, it's like, yeah, you need stitches there. So I took me in the back, just shined a light on me, and started putting stitches in me.
Did it hurt?
Yeah,
I was
It-
gonna say like that.
it wasn't. You know, it wasn't pleasant, and I could see him like sticking the needle up in my eyelid. It was
See, that's why I don't get LASIK, because that would scare me, because they have you like awake for that thing, and they force your eyes open.
Yeah.
They just like do all sorts of.
it's funny because I need to get LASIK.
I want to.
I want LASIK.
I want LASIK so bad.
I want to know what it's like to see without contacts.
I know.
I just know for me personally, it's just having that, just being able to judge distance better. Because when I don't have my glasses and I'm like everything's all blurry and everything, it's hard to gauge distance. It's not until that's kind of the reason why I did well in wrestling, because I didn't need to see my opponent. As soon as we like clinched up, I didn't need to see you. I knew where everything was.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It
there's
was.
there's a lot of people that are like high level like jiu-jitsu guys that do like jiu-jitsu with their eyes closed. Just
Yeah,
because
that's pretty much me. Like I don't have to see.
I mean, one of my favorite things, like, I just started wearing my contacts during fights.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, and I've been able to slip punches now because I'm like, oh, I see it coming.
That's what my coach was saying. Like once you like get that fixed, you'll actually be able to like slip punches and like see and block. And
There was one of the fights that I saw that I was so happy. Like, you have head movement now, and boxing, and like, it's gone from where to now there's movement here, and there's pop, 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 and moving back and forth, and all this dynamic movement and shit, and not just overhand double leg. Like, it was like, for me, I was like, dude, he's done it. He's complete. Now it's just making everything flow free.
But yeah, that was scary. And then I had pretty much he told me to come see that same doctor told me to come see him a week, because I mean I wouldn't trust anyone else to take him out other than the guy who actually put it in. So yeah, that was scary. Getting him out was even worse.
You've had more like cuts and stuff during fights.
I have actually.
I've never been cut during a fight.
Really?
I envy you because I want to be in like a blood war.
I was never really in the blood war, but
I want to like leak
cut
on
up.
that person.
And it's funny because I think the same eye I had stitches on. I had it under my right eyelid and then over my right eyebrow.
See, like he's got way cooler.
And it's funny because
stories.
like the biggest scar you see is like on the bridge of my nose.
Right.
That wasn't sparring.
His was inspiring. I mean,
I
that's
just
what
swore.
he lost against a
But-
nightstand.
But
Yeah.
but people think that
Big
it's from
0,
fighting.
nightstand 1.
Nightstand one.
Do you go kick that nightstand every once in a while?
Dude, I threw it away.
Oh, so it's big 1, nightstand 1.
Yeah, it's in a wood chipper now. Yeah, man.
Thing's got bad juju.
Got bad juju. Yeah, but hey, I'm undefeated in fighting according to Tapology.
According to topology.
We just have to include that at the end of my.
I actually had fights added in. Because I like said, oh, actually, I had a fight here at this date at this venue, and then I think maybe like a couple months later they added it in.
I mean, I'm gonna change it anyway. Well, it doesn't matter. It's
Doesn't
my amateur record, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right.
But for like historians' sake, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's gonna be any historian that cares about my amateur career. For all intents and purposes, this is the start of my career.
No, like
Anything that I've done prior does not exist.
But it's still cool to like kind of see that.
no, like if you ever have a book deal, you'll have like that. It's my very first fight. The very first fight's gonna be an amateur fight.
It's like hand wraps. You might throw it away, but if you actually go on to be someone, you could actually sell that for.
Yeah,
good
I've
money.
got a couple pairs of my hand wraps. How many do you have?
I think I have all but one.
I've got like, and like I
Which
know-
is weird because I don't have them in anything. They're just sitting on like my dresser, just all like piled up. Because I have no idea what I want to do. And plus now I have no idea which one's which fight. Because they just all look the same.
One of the things that
Actually, no. I do know which one is one fight because Rich has wrapped all of my hands except for one fight. And that one fight I know is in his because it looks like shit.
yeah, I remember.
Literally, it was a guy that hadn't wrapped hands in like over a year. And he was some fighter. I heard of his name, but I never really seen him fight.
Right.
And he's like, man, I haven't done this in a while. I'm like, okay. And next to wrap my hands, I'm like, you suck. And I'm scared to throw my hands at anyone because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get hurt.
Dude, you just need to go. What's his name? What's the Icelandic dude's name?
Gunnar
Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson fights with no hands.
So does Bosford. Or so Bosford did.
Dude,
He
I
didn't believe in like doing that.
kind of like that idea.
And Yana did it. I don't like it.
I kind of
I don't, because I know if I even when I have boxing gloves on and I'm throwing like hooks and stuff, if my wrist isn't stable, hey, I'll like hurt my wrist.
I mean, but we train a lot with no gloves at all, throwing like punches at each other.
That's true, but I mean, like, with the gloves that you have, there's so much already like that. I see, like, the extra security of a wrap is really nice.
I really don't care about the whole knuckle thing. It's just more like wrist support is
Yeah.
what I care about.
I kind of want to just tape my wrist and tape my thumb and then put the glove on. I want to try that in a fight. I mean, probably now's not the time to experiment with that.
I mean, I think it just kind of depends on your style. If you're like grappling oriented, then yeah, I would go for it.
Grappling oriented, and you can kind of see where it goes. Actually, more depends on the glove. Because I've seen, like,
Dude, those Venom gloves
The
fit
Venom
so
gloves are really
good.
nice,
Have you fought the Venom gloves? The ones that Legacy gives? Dude, they're
they,
the greatest thing I've ever felt in my hands.
Really?
there's
It's
a
like putting
big,
your foot, putting your hands in a pillow.
like,
Really?
It's
yeah.
amazing. And
He
it's
has the Venom ones, and then he also has the Revolutions.
Revolucious.
Revolutus?
Yeah, Revolutus. It's one of the brands out of Texas.
Okay.
And
I know.
for the
yeah.
gladiator fights, and that was
Those ones were all right. They're a little bit harder.
yeah. They have a natural like
Yeah.
stiffness.
Yeah, I mean they have the curve.
At least with the Venom ones, it has like they're pretty hysterical.
The Venom ones, all the pad is sits on your knuckle and your fingers. Like it sits here and then it stops right here. So you have full mobility of your hand, but whenever you curl over, the pad's sitting right at your knuckles, which is amazing. And then you've got another. You don't have that like second little bump pad here. You've got just the wrap around the wrist. So you got pad, knuckle around the wrist, and then they've got that locking system that's awesome. It's like the Hayabusa locking system. Like one goes this way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like that's the smartest way to do it. I don't know who came up with it first, whether it was Hayabusa or whatever company, but that's the smartest way to put your glove on.
Right.
I mean, I've never tried. No, I have fought once with laces.
Yeah.
The dirty Muay Thai stuff we used to do.
Oh yeah.
Laces out. Got somebody with laces.
That was the worst.
Horrible. Muay Thai's dirty, bro. Like that's by far. I keep telling people like that's the art that tears your body up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wrestling does it too, though.
Yeah, wrestling.
Wrestling, you pay with your knees, man.
Yeah.
Your knees will
Shoulders,
go out.
knees and shoulders.
I'm surprised that there's not more back injuries in wrestling. Because there's not. I mean, I don't.
There might be.
I mean, because it's all pulling with your lats.
Yeah.
Anyway, looks like it's about time, guys. I'm gonna have to call it right now. Sijin, do you have anything that you want to promote for everybody to kind of Take a
Come
look
see
at-
Vic, June 23rd. See him get his first pro win.
Yeah.
In Stillwater. Stillwater?
Stillwater, yeah. Stillwater, Oklahoma.
We're
We're
at.
gonna be at the Expo Center at the fairgrounds here in Stillwater, and it's for Conquest Promotions. I'm the main event fight. I'm fighting a guy named Matt Lightning Leal. He is a multiple-time, world champion kickboxer, something like that. And this is his pro MMA debut as well, but he's a professional kickboxer. So it's going to be interesting.
See how I just turned and promoted you instead of myself.
Thanks for the plug.
do you have any sponsors that you want to see that with?
No, not really. But if you are in Houston or in the Southwest Houston side, you can come visit myself and my team at Strong Style MMA. We're located in Rosenberg, Texas. So if you're ever out there, come by.
Dude, room full of savages.
Yeah. Actually, also, June, I think it's the same night as your fight. Is your fighting on Friday night or is Saturday night? So that Friday night is LFA 41? No, 42, I
Christian
believe.
Lucha Lira.
Christian Lara. I don't know if he's going to be on the TV card. Hopefully, if a TV card fight falls off, he'll be on there. But keep a lookout for him. He's definitely on the up and up, and he's got a bright future ahead of him.
125-pound version of Khabib Nurmagomedov.
He is the strongest 125er in the world. Or so he likes to say.
And I'm the best looking.
That's
Not debatable.
purely up to
Not debatable. Not debatable at all. But
I mean, do you think you're better than Sergio Pettis? Slime girls like Sergio Pettis.
Hell yeah. I mean, did you see what kind of jeans he's wearing? Wearing Justin Bieber pants, bro.
Did you look at yourself?
Dude, this is like hippie chic.
This is like
This
you
is
work
not
in.
hippie chic. This
If
is
you're
like,
familiar with the Houston area, this is the kind of stuff you would see in Montrose.
Whoa.
oh damn,
You gotta
why you gotta be like that?
But yeah, dude, Christian is a monster on the ground.
He does look like a flyweight Khabib.
Yeah, that's the
He's
way he fights.
Hispanic. He's Hispanic, but literally everyone that meets him thinks he's like Russian.
He's got a
He looks
huge
exactly like all those East Russian fighters.
Okay.
beard, and he fights exactly like them.
Yeah, he does fight exactly like Khabib.
He asked permission to
No,
fish with them.
no, he's got better hands.
He can box, but he doesn't.
He doesn't, but yeah,
He
it's
chooses not
crazy.
to. That's why
He
he's
actually, if you see him fight, you would think he has a great wrestling background.
Mm-hmm.
Never wrestled before.
Really?
This is the guy that I told you was making me upset that I couldn't get off the cage.
That's right. I remember you telling me about that.
And literally, he'll go up against other wrestlers, like high school wrestlers that were wrestling, and they can't take him down.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Tanner, who, I think he graduated high school a couple of years ago, but he placed 5th in Texas in wrestling in his weight class.
I just want to say, straight wrestling, I took him down.
He even says the guy at 125 pounds that won state wouldn't have been able to take Christian down. It's just crazy how gifted he is.
He's really good.
Alright, look out
His
for
MMA wrestling is amazing.
look out for that guy too. Also, I just want to promote, SmackDown products. They're on Etsy. You can find them at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Stillwater. They have everything from little solve to for mat burn and stuff like that. Heat and cold packs.
And they smell really nice too.
They smell really nice. They're just amazing. They work.
And they have a cool logo.
They do have a cool logo, like Luchador thing.
Yeah.
Check
Which is
that out.
also like Strong Style MMA's logo. It's a luchador mask with
Dude, that's like the dopest shirt.
It really is cool.
Y'all gotta get me.
even though it's it's MMA, it has nothing to do with luchador wrestling.
You have to get me one of those shirts.
I will.
Oh, dude, I have a plug. Well, I have some.
Oh,
I'm obligated.
go.
So, check out if you are in the Stillwater area and you are into bunny ears and CBD. You need to check out American Shaman CBD. It's probably the best quality CBD here in Stillwater. And it'll give you antlers like this. No, but it'll make you feel great, take care of all your inflammation, and just help you, be cool, be calm. Cool, calm, and collected. If you are looking for a Pilates studio or just some place to get a different type of workout, not MMA oriented, I would try Empower Fitness Studios. They're on Main Street here in Stillwater, and they're amazing. I've been going to them, and just my balance and everything is increased.
They
It's
absolutely tortured me when I was there.
Yeah, and they have stripper poles, and it's amazing, and it's a great workout. I like it. I dig it. It's fun. And who else?
The gym.
I know I have. Downtown Barbershop, dude. Forgetting. Then I looked at my haircut and I was like, oh man, you look good.
Yeah, they fixed me up pretty nice too.
Downtown Barbershop, yeah.
Thank you, Doc.
Doc's the man. He takes care of fighters. He loves MMA. Go in there, you'll have a great conversation. Can talk about anything, not just MMA, but always cool movies going on, watching some kind of cool TV show, just talking, having a great time. It is an old school type barbershop, and it's just the coolest thing, especially for a young guy starting out. It really helps you feel like a man, helps you feel like a gentleman. So I think it's a really awesome thing that he's doing there. And Legacy Signs, they're helping me out with my banner. So, and then check out Jiu-Jitsu Academy Stillwater,
Right.
the only real pure jiu-jitsu gym in Stillwater, and the only gym with 2 MMA fighters. We're the only gym that has MMA fighters in Stillwater, and we are both champions. So
Hashtag shots fired.
hashtags, where you at, son?
Any last question for the 8-Ball?
Will I ever?
How about will we run out of power before the end of this
Yeah.
thing? Because the thing.
I'm pretty sure we won't.
Let's
but-
see. Very likely. Hurry, turn it off, turn it off.
Alrighty, everybody. Like, share the video if you can. Sijin, thank you again for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's nice to actually talk with some other fighters and Vic. And I've been trying to get the word out. Hopefully, I get more into the.
Honestly, I have no idea how you guys can deal with them for all these years because literally, I think we were for like what 2 years we trained together, and I was sick of them after like a month. So
They disowned me.
we
They replaced me with
You pull guard.
Christian.
You pull guard.
I
Yeah,
pulled
you pull
guard, and
guard.
they're like, nope, we want Christian now.
Alrighty, guys. This will be the Chokelahoma. There you go.